Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is my latest and greatest decision of vehicles to pick up. This is my 2006 M3 convertible 6-speed, younger brother to my 02 M3 convertible 6-speed, and of course you got my 330 Ci manual in the background here. So we just got back from Copart, towed it here with the new Tundra, and it did absolutely fantastic. Averaged I think 14.5 mpg round trip, so not too bad. A little better than what the old Tundra would have done, probably about 10. So I'm pleased with that. Effortless towing. But let's get back to the car, the subject matter of our video here. So I have been following this car on Copart since October, when it first got posted, and it has finally come to auction this last week. And against better judgment, bid on it and won. So just take a quick walk around here. Outside's in pretty good shape, just very, very dirty. We'll get to that here in a minute. And some of you may have already figured out why I was at Copart. Looking good around the back. The bumper's a little loose back here. That could be, you know, lot damage from Copart. You know, they just jam the forks underneath everything. I apologize about the angle dangle of the sun. Real nice and clean on this side as well, except for all the dirt. And the front, again, a little bit of a gap issue there, but probably again from Copart. And it looks like we're missing this trim ring, which is funny because my 02 is missing the same trim ring on that side. So that's kind of a bummer. But anyway, back to the car. So I said, saw this in October, and if you can't tell, this has gotten a little wet, and by a little wet I mean a lot. If you can see the water lines all the way up, you know, here and above, well, about here I think looks to be about the highest water line. Just a few weeks before this was Hurricane Helene that came through and devastated many parts of the southeast, and I thought, well, maybe this was, you know, part of that. It was on the coast, got flooded, ended up at Copart. And sometimes when the lots get overloaded, they ship them to different locations. I thought that was the case with this. And I just was only kind of curious about it until I ran the Carfax. This is a one owner from new with 119,000 miles, last reported in July or June of 2024, so just, you know, 8 months ago basically. And it was always Georgia, Cumming, Georgia to be specific. And while it didn't make a lot of the news, Georgia did get some bad flooding, and that's when the bells went off in my head, thinking this wasn't a saltwater flood, this was a freshwater, which is way better to deal with than a saltwater flood. Also looking through the Carfax report, I'll pop up a little blurb of what they all did recently, but in January of last year, I believe, January of 24, this got wheel bearings all the way around, struts, shocks all the way around, a new clutch, new crank seal, belts, pulleys. Shortly before that, oil pan gasket, and a starter, amongst other things. But this thing has had a lot of maintenance done in the past. So my thought process behind this whole thing was, if this thing is totally, you know, if we can't get this thing back on the road, there's a lot of good parts that I can take for the M3. That's on all original suspension components. This is brand new. We can swap those right on. They don't care that they got wet. And same thing with, you know, the hard parts like the transmission, the differential. They're not going to care that they got wet. They're pretty well sealed, although we will check them. Now the big $1 million question is, how's the engine? I don't have any reason to believe that this was running when it got flooded. Mainly looking at all these water lines, you can see how it just slowly started coming down. So this thing was stationary wherever it got flooded. So the engine most likely is full of water. We will have to drain that, flush out the cylinders, see if it rotates, all that fun stuff, and see if we can get this thing to run. Give you a quick look on the inside. I'm not going to stay in there too long because it's still pretty wet. So the seats are all dry. Oh, wow, that is a smell. You see we still got standing water on the back. Front's all wet, but the seats are nice and dry. Our plan for this is basically plan to remediate the interior, pop the top down. I can get in there, start wiping things down, get the seats out of here, get the carpet out, and we can dry the interior out. Go from there to see what else may need attention. You can get back here in the trunk. Wow, that is a stench. And of course, I'll have some good PPE on so I don't get sick. Back here in the trunk, obviously did get a little wet. You can see some silt back in here. I don't see anything on that subwoofer, which is strange. I don't think it got real wet back here. I think just a little bit over this. I don't know. We got a lot of silt all in here, so maybe the trunk just stayed pretty well protected. You got owner manual, that kind of stuff. That's all ruined. Somebody's house key, toothbrush. Got the inflatable kit because there's no spare tire in these. There's no spare tire well. But this is all pretty well dry. Just a little bit of water back here. Oh, we can check the toolkit. Yeah, we're missing quite a bit of stuff. Oh, the tow hook's on the back already. These are the wheel lock keys. That's good. We do have that back here. I don't know where the lug wrench is. We may find that. Missing the triangle, of course. But the rest of the tools look pretty good. I was kind of hoping that this might have had like a D&N exhaust, but from what I could tell, it's just stock. Oh yeah, just stock muffler. We'll get this inside at some point, up in the air, look over everything underneath, drain the fluids out, clean up, make sure that we can put some power to it. And my thought is that we'll get this thing running. Like I said, it was freshwater flood. All right, here we get a look underneath the hood. You can see, yeah, definitely has got a bunch of silt on it. First thing I want to check is the oil here. See how that looks. If it's significantly overfull, then we know that there's water in the motor. Really hard to tell. Let's wipe it off, start again. It's kind of poopy looking, but let's get a fresh stab here. Well, I'm not seeing anything, which is not a good sign. Well, it's good that it's probably not full of water, but that probably means all the oil floated out of the engine. Take a look under here. It looks nice and dry inside there. We might be lucky. I just don't know why there's no oil on the stick. I mean, it could be just typical BMW things. Let's pop this air filter box. Oh, dude, this is dry as a bone. There's no moisture whatsoever. Now, it has been a couple months. This stuff could have evaporated, but I don't think water might not have gotten in here. There's a bunch of silt and stuff in the air box, but there's nothing else in there. I'm just gonna, now we can stick that back in there. All right, that's a good sign. Well, we could check the oil filter too. I have to grab a wrench, but I want to check inside the DME box as well. Make sure that that looks okay. All right, let's get this lid off here. Already got 4 of the screws out. What's she gonna look like? These are usually sealed fairly well. Oh my God, guys. Let me get you in here. You're not gonna believe this. Perfect. Oh, thank you. That's a huge help that our DME is not full of water fried. All electrical in here is good. These are great signs, guys. I almost want to just put power to it and see if she'll crank, but don't want to do that. We'll get it. Wait till we get her inside. We get this set back up. All right, let's see if we can get this oil filter out, see what that looks like. Move this. Well, we've got oil. Yeah, it's just oil. There's no water in there. Can this thing just be low on oil? Might have to put a couple quarts in it just to see. I did peek underneath. I did not see any damage to the oil pan, so I don't think the oil pan cracked and lost all its oil. I just don't know why we don't see it. Washer solvent. Got however much it's got in it. I can't see. Use a good shoulder. Turn that. Cool. This system had a little pressure on it. It's full. Guys, I think we lucked out significantly on this. Our time will tell. We still gotta drain all the fluids, check the interior wiring and whatnot, make sure we don't burn the car down when we put power to it. But so far it looks really good. Check the cabin filter. I'm sure that's toast. That doesn't look bad. It's dry. Amazing. I mean, there's tons of silt in here. From what I can see inside, there's nothing got past this. This is crazy, guys. It's everything under the hood seems like it's fine. No water got in it. That air filter was dry. It doesn't seem like there's water in the motor. Well, I can't get to the drain plug. To really test that theory, there could be water on top of the piston, so I really don't want to crank this thing over and bend a rod. But yeah, I can't believe it. I mean, the inside is a mess. It stinks to high heaven, but that can clean. So I think on that note, that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna give this thing a quick bath, see it in its natural glory, spray out the engine bay a little bit, and see what she looks like. Well, would you look at that? Would you look at it? Just look at it. Would you look at that? This thing came out really well. It's still wet, of course. I didn't bother drying off or anything like that. It needs much more thorough detail than what I'm going to go through today. Break out the clay mitt, the brushes, detail brushes, get in all the nooks and crannies where everything's built up. But for just a mop and polish, it looks really freaking good. There's little nicks and dings in here all on the car. It is nearly 20 years old, but all in all, I think it came out really great, guys. So The next step, it's not going to go in the house or in the shop yet. You know, my garage is underneath the house. I don't want all that smell and disgustingness in the house. So tomorrow's supposed to rain all day, so we're not gonna be able to touch this, get on it. But after that, it's gonna be nice and sunny for the next few days. I think I'm gonna drop the top manually, get the seats out, get the carpet out, get the interior dried out, just leave everything out in the sun. It's gonna be sunny for several days. I should dry everything out, then I can start wiping stuff down and get it so where we can get it in the garage. And then from there, we'll get it in the garage, get it up in the air, check out the underneath, drain the fluids, put some power to it, and see if we can make it live. So I'm going to pull all the plugs out, make sure the cylinders aren't full of water, put probably some Marvel Mystery Oil in there. But I don't think at this point, what I've seen, that water actually got in the motor, which is strange. I don't know why there's no oil in the stick. I was gonna put some oil in it, but I'm just gonna drain it anyway, so it's really not worth it. But yeah, guys, I am super stoked to pick this up. And then where do we go from there? Well, that's the $1 million question. So unfortunately, this was sold parts only. But at the beginning of this month, Georgia did issue a salvage title. For some reason, Copart canceled it and sold it bill of sale only. I don't know why. I asked, she didn't really have any info on it. But I'm gonna go see what I can do, see if we can get, maybe I can get a bonded title on it, maybe we can get a rebuilt title. That's all assuming this thing runs and drives. You know, I'd hate to see this thing go for parts. There's certainly good money in it. Engine's $4,000 if it runs. Transmission swap, the 6-speed manual swap, $1,500, $2,000. Rear subframe with the limited slip, that's $1,000. Then we got all the body panels, the wheels, tires, interior bits. So there's some good coin to be made. But this car is nice. It's one owner, just unfortunately got a little wet. And we're gonna see if we can sort her out. So for now, thank you all for watching. Appreciate you. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one.